Welcome to the
mouth of Manliness. The hour has started.
Welcome.
Hello. I am Nick Noyes. Hello, screen. Hello, world. I am Nicholas Noyes, but never call me Nicky. And this is the very handsome Brad Action.
All right.
So, it's been a little while. We've had a tiny break. We've had like a week off, I think. So we had a little week off. So it feels like we haven't done this for ages.
Feels like ages.
It does feel like ages. It hasn't been ages, but it feels like ages.
Last time I saw you, Nick, we had a nice time around your house.
Ooh, a nice time indeed. Yeah, Brad and his family came round, so we thought after all this time of doing this, since like February, it might be a nice time to actually meet each other's kids and wives. And it was very nice indeed.
You had a really nice time. It was lovely, thank you. Even though I ate all your food.
You didn't eat all of it because there was still some left.
Yeah.
I ate loads of peanuts and got bad guts.
Oh.
And I seem to always do when I eat loads of peanuts.
Don't oversell it because everyone will want to come round.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? I had a couple of things that I was interested in talking about today. But firstly, I don't know if anyone knows, but you are listening to a number one podcast.
What?
Yes, a number one podcast indeed. We are number one in New Zealand in the category of arts.
I think it's arts or visual arts.
Something like that. I don't know how that happened.
Well,
I'll have it though. I'll have it. I'll take it and I'll run with it.
We've fucking grabbed it with both hands because, and let me turn his headphones off because there's a delay. So basically, we have to give our podcast loads of categories. I couldn't decide what we were because most people are in comedy.
Yeah.
But I think that's because a lot of our friends are in comedy as well, but or entertainment or whatever. But we're like music,
we're multifaceted.
Mental health, men's health, fashion, obviously.
Yep.
Look at us.
Yeah, I've got my own.
Mate, the first thing I saw when I come in, I love that t-shirt.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Black and white, but it is my only summer top.
So, because I couldn't decide on what category to do, I just did all of them. And I think that is how we managed to be basically top dogs in New Zealand.
New Zealand? Fucking hell, the land of the Hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, mate, they have a rough time, didn't they? So maybe they got a lot to talk about. Yeah.
I've never really watched it. It's too long and laborious for me.
It is long.
I've got a very short attention span.
But that's their lives.
Yeah, Hobbits. Yeah, I suppose everyone's just taller than them. So last week we put out our episode with Brad Humble from Grum Reaper and got a lot of really nice feedback.
Amazing
especially
feedback.
About Brad. People seem to really like him.
Yeah.
Ellie Friedman seemed to be quite excited by his voice. Ellie, in a comment I made about being woke men and being feminist.
Yeah.
Ellie said something that was completely the opposite. And remarked on Brad's sexy voice. She didn't say sexy, I put that in.
Yeah.
We also, remarkably, got someone to sponsor us some guitar pedals.
Oh my God, I forgot about this. This is amazing.
Steve Weston from Ray Gun Effects. Ray Gun Effects, if you don't know them, they make really cool. Primarily, I think they're kind of niches making fuzz boxes. He was the one who put a fuzz pedal into a Game Boy.
Yeah, I love the look of that.
It's done really well. A lot of people, a few kind of like Tim Wheeler from Ash uses one.
Oh wow!
Anyway, I got in touch with him and said, "I really like your stuff. Would you consider sponsoring us a few pedals?" And he's going to send us over a pedal each and a couple of t-shirts.
That's so cool, mate.
I know, I'm so pleased.
That really stuff like that really makes me happy.
I figure we'll shout about him a bit and put his logo on our stuff.
Totally. And he's in We Are High Low, right?
High Low.
High Low, that's it.
Yeah, the band High Low, they're kind of like a grungy but quite poppy band.
Yeah.
They're really good, so check them out. Check them out and check Ray Gun Effects out. Because Yeah, not just saying it because he's got like he's
No, genuinely.
like they're genuine. Look, I've got one. Hold on.
What's nice is when I used to work at Phoenix FM as a radio presenter, we had like shared playlists, and their music would always come up in the playlists. My friend Nick from Phoenix, I think, has had them on his Curveball show quite a few times,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah,
so I'd
yeah,
heard
okay.
of Hilo before, and then obviously I follow all the I try and follow all the pedal makers and stuff like that, which we've got a mutual liking for.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'd spoken about ray gun in the past.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you ring up and you're all like, oh wow, they want to give us pedals and t-shirts.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah, that's
It's
so
worth
good.
an ask, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll ask anyone out there if you want to sponsor us some stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And we'll throw your logo and talk very highly about you. Obviously, only if you're good. If you're shit, then we're not going to lie.
We'll help people build and progress.
What?
Well, like if, it might be a little. Well, no, it might be a little bit shit, but then we'll go. Oh well, look how it's so cool. Like I don't think anything's shit.
No, it's true.
I'm on the fence,
There's merits in everything.
and everyone's on a journey.
Yeah.
So it might be the first step of their journey or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, we might not show it on screen if it's shit.
That's what I like about the ray gun stuff, though, because I think we've been doing it a few years, but it's still a relatively small company.
Yeah.
I think it's Steve who makes them all himself.
Yeah.
And being a bit of a fan of a boutique guitar pedal, like that's proper boutique.
They do look really cool
yeah,
as
I
well.
love it.
Really, really cool.
I asked for the dual overdrive. Yeah, I've been buying pedals lately. I sold a guitar and bought some pedals. So the other thing I wanted to say was an update on the hair malarkey. So ages ago I said, everyone should have Propecia or Finasteride because it makes your hair stops you losing your hair. It does, but it also can make you really depressed and suicidal, which I've got a propensity to be, but I definitely think this exacerbated my situation because I started them about 10 or 11 years ago. And about 10 or 11 years ago, I went on medication full time for depression.
Bit of a coincidence.
So it's a bit of a coincidence. So I stopped taking them about a month, maybe 5 weeks ago. And I feel fucking loads better.
That's
I
crazy,
genuinely
innit?
just feel so much better. Like I get home from work, normally I feel fucking like I've had enough by the time I get home from work. And like Sarah's noticed like I'm singing and stuff.
And
And
what are you singing, Nick? Jazz tunes?
No.
Show tunes?
No. I don't know what I've been singing, whatever I've been listening to.
Good.
I've been listening to a lot of Nick Cave lately, which is quite miserable music, but I don't find it miserable.
Ironic.
I love Nick Cave. I've been really digging him lately. So I stopped taking them. If you're taking them and you're feeling miserable, stop taking them. And look at alternative means. All the alternative means are prohibitively expensive, I found. But one of the slightly cheaper ways of doing it is to get PRP, which is where is where they take blood from you. They spin it around in the machine. I had it done like not this Monday, gone the Monday before.
Oh, you've already had it done?
Yeah, I had it done.
I know you were talking about having it done.
Yeah, no, I went and did it. I'm not sitting around.
Should I have noticed? Because I feel bad. Like
No, you won't really notice.
Okay.
The idea is that it don't get any thinner.
all right.
So far it hasn't. And what they do, they take blood from them, they spin it around, and then once they've spun it around, it's like this kind of sludgy oil at the top. And that is like the plasma, the platelets, or one of those kind of things. The smegma. And they draw it out, and then they inject it into your head in all your body and all your thin bits. So I've got to go back and have it done a few times. It is not cheap.
Is it painful?
It is painful, but for someone who never feels manly, the guy, when he did it, he was like, "Oh, you've got a high pain threshold."
Oh.
And I'm like,
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah, I'm well hard.
Yeah, they mix it with local anaesthetic. So after the first few, you don't feel it much anyway. It don't hurt any more than a normal injection. Just you have about 20 of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt well pleased with myself afterwards.
That's amazing.
Like I was like double arms because I've got a higher pain threshold.
Yeah.
And I think, and I was talking about it with a mate at work, and he reckons that I don't necessarily have a higher pain threshold. Maybe I kind of like the pain because I'm quite self-destructive. And I thought, that's probably it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Not bad.
Like I like those little bits of self-destruction.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So I'm really pleased about that. So far, so good.
That is good news.
Yeah, but I just feel those better.
Yeah, it's nice for people to have something to follow as well. That's good news.
Yeah, that's what I think. And like, give a bit of good advice, because I do think like losing your hair is something that can make you really miserable. So just to say there are options, but in fairness, like Pisha is like £1 a day, so that's not crazy money, and it does fucking work.
Yeah.
It really worked for me. But yeah, if you've got a propensity towards depression, it will probably make you fucking worse, and I swear it has to me. So there's that. And I had a couple of other things of interest to talk about.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah. So I've been putting videos up on YouTube. I've been putting up little slices of out here Boston videos. Hello, Boston.
Hi, Boston,
Hi,
America.
Boston.
Hi.
There are over 1,000 of you watching us in other countries that aren't England.
Right now.
Yeah, over 1,000 viewers in not just America. I mean, the bulk of them in America, but 27 countries. And how many are we How many countries is the podcast going to?
All of them.
All the countries.
Yeah.
Even the countries where even the countries that declare themselves countries, I wonder.
What, like when people get together in a pub and go, "I know, let's form our own country."
Yeah, what's that? Danny Wallace. I read his book.
Oh, yeah?
That. Yeah, it's quite good.
So technically, yeah, because he would have done that in London, or LA.
He did it in London.
He did.
Yes. I think our friend off the Better Track has interviewed him.
Yeah, well, I got to know him quite well at XFM for a little while. Yeah. And I would like to have him on. I've spoken to him in the past, but I don't want to pester him. But it'd be nice to have him on.
No, but if there's anyone listening and they fancy being on it,
yes,
if we can make it happen, we will.
We will.
Basically, if you can get to Essex, or we can get to you and you're not too far away. I kind of suggested to our man Morgan Gleave, I said, if ever he's up this way, or even if he's in London, like we could try and make it work.
Definitely, that'd be so cool. He's such a character. Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
So I'd love to have him on.
And likewise, if there's people that you think, I'd love to sit them down with them too and just see what happens, then mention it on Twitter. Mention us, if you put an @ sign and then mention our name afterwards. And then mention them, because all the famous people are on Twitter, right? And then what happens is you get all your mates to go, I'd love to see that happen, I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden that happens.
From other people than from us.
I've actually seen that work in effect. And it's quite effective. Because it's supply and demand. So if there's anyone you want on, at them in, tweet in, and let us know, let them know, and we'll make it happen for you.
Or if you know someone who you think might be good to come on.
Yeah.
We want to raise our profile a bit, I think.
Yes.
Like, we've done really well to this point. We've done so much better than we really believe.
Miles more.
But like, really, when we think about it, the point of this show is to kind of reach people and help people and offer people some sunshine and solace and support in life, which is difficult sometimes. So if anyone's watching this and they can help us raise our profile and reach more people, then we will welcome you with open arms. So that's guests, or even if you out there are a fucking whiz kid on the socials and can help us out, then yeah, please do.
Definitely.
Because I kind of like to think of this as a community more than it's just me and Brad, really.
Yeah.
So we still very much want to hear what other people think. We want to hear your stories. So I was thinking there's 2 things I wanted to talk about. There's 3 things I wanted to talk about. One of them was talking about a message, the miscarriage thing.
Yes.
And I was thinking maybe we could save that for the next one.
Yeah, mainly because I can't remember A, who sent it, or
It
B,
don't matter though. We can still talk
where
about
it is.
it.
Okay.
But so can I kick us off with something I was thinking about?
Go for it.
So my brother-in-law Paul sent me he forwarded something that was on WhatsApp today. Or no, something that was online, Guardian online. And he forwarded it to me just to see what I thought. And it was, it was a Guardian article. And it said that men, not all men, some men don't like to recycle because they think it makes them look gay.
No way. Really?
Yeah. And that was the kind. And what was cool, like
Mate, that's unreal.
That was the title. It was genuinely the title. And then it goes on more. It goes into more detail, but it actually kind of goes on. The topic pretty much goes on to what we're about. How like the patriarchy of our culture is male, and men should do this, and men are in charge, and that it almost threatens that, and people don't like it, and they're frightened that they're going to be ridiculed, and people will call them gay or something like that. That's a bad thing.
That's fucking mental.
No,
that's crazy. I would like to counteract that argument with something that's just come into my head.
Yeah.
What about the tip? Because going down the tip is recycling. Because my brother, he goes down the tip a lot because he's a bloke, and that's what blokes do, apparently. And I know he'll be listening and be laughing because he quite often gets confused about what goes in what bin.
Yep.
You know, there's a wood bin, a metal bin. I mean, like skip size.
Yeah. The big.
If you're carrying like a settee, as me and him have done on multiple occasions, at times in a trade stickered van, so we got told off to go, but then we just parked it upside and we walked it in. It's a very it's quite a manly thing.
So I think.
Not in my opinion, because obviously I think anyone can get stuff out the back of the car and put it in the bin.
You know what? I don't like going to the tip because I feel that I'm not manly enough, and that people will kind of look down their nose at me.
Well, that's the thing. So what I'm saying is, where is that argument? At what level is going to the tip manly, but having 3 bins in your kitchen gay?
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
So I think. So it's the idea, I think what they were kind of getting at was the idea that men don't give a fuck about things like that.
Yeah.
You know, a real man isn't fucking interested in saving the planet. You know, that's far too fucking airy-fairy for a real man.
Yeah.
And a real man, if they can get away with it at going to the dump, the tip, they would just throw everything in one.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's like the idea of going through your rubbish or your waste.
The thing is,
real men aren't going to do that. They're just going to fucking throw it.
I think the realist men do that, in my opinion. And the thing that confuses me, that's got to be clickbait, surely, because unless that's a genuine quote from someone, then the newspaper is still using the word gay as a derogatory term.
No, so the guy who wrote it was a gay guy.
Right. Okay.
And it became more of a reflective thing, and saying that using that kind of language, or even that being like the aspersion there that doing something like that is gay, just basically saying that kind of idea, he was saying, creates mental health problems.
Wow.
Because it means that people are frightened to be who they are, thus they then suppress who they are, then they become ill. It's like the debate about, I was having this debate recently about should you tell children about sexuality at a young age?
Mm.
So I kind of come from the angle of you separate the sex and sexuality, separate sex from sexuality, talk about sexuality, gender, and those kind of things. And there was something on the socials saying that children should be children, they shouldn't be told these things. But if you go on what our guest Peter said a while ago, is that children between 0 and 6, that's when they do the bulk of their learning
sponges
about the world. If you then don't, if in that time all they see is that you know, if they're told being gay, being transgender, not being the society's expected norm is bad, then basically you're fucking them up straight away.
Yeah.
What we should be telling them is be whoever you want to be.
Yeah.
And some families are different, some people are different, but they're all cool.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be
Everyone's
as
cool.
it doesn't need to be as explicit as
Yeah.
right. Some blokes do this to another men, women do this to other women, but like it can
You
literally
don't have
be
to even bring the sexuality. You don't have to bring sex into it.
if they're open to everything.
Just saying everything's cool.
Yeah, then nothing would be a surprise.
Yeah. So that when they do get older, and if they do then realise that they're gay, they're not going to instantly be ashamed of it.
No, or hide it away.
Surely that's what we want.
Yeah,
Surely.
totally. Yeah.
Like what? And what is the argument against? I don't understand the argument against
No,
that.
there ain't one.
It's like saying kids can still be kids.
Yeah.
You're not actually telling them anything that's going to make. I think it goes back to like this very old idea that if you say that, then they'll go, "Oh, I'm gay then."
Yeah.
And like, it's this idea that people actually have a choice.
Yeah, or it's like the kid's then going to literally just go and like start doing stuff with their best friend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it ain't.
No.
Like I can imagine my little boy would just keep jumping on the settee and just keep colouring in or
and
whatever.
they're not, and they're fairly disaffected at that
Yeah.
age. Children at that age, they'll just be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Fair enough.
And that okay
Yeah.
it's pretty much what they'll carry with them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like I say to my kids right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I used to mess around and say to Jude, "Oh, I'm going to marry you, Jude," and he's like, "No, you can't marry me. You're a boy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I can.
I'm really
I
disappointed.
can't
'Cause-
marry you because I'm your dad, but not because I'm a boy."
But like Buddy's coming home like a couple of times. He said, "Oh, I can't play with such and such because she's a girl," and I'm like, "Whoa, like no, like where's that come from? Like you're entitled to your opinion, but someone's told you that, and I'm not happy with whoever has told you that because we have not got that opinion. Like where has that come from?
And,
It's crazy.
You have to work within the parameters of the world around you.
Yeah,
But if you say to him, no, like that's cool. Like if people say that, you know, you don't have to listen. You make up your own mind.
yeah,
But what it did, and then almost the article kind of it's pretty typical of me. Is that I then attach my own meaning to it,
of course.
which is one of my problems. But we all do it.
Yeah,
Some to more extent than others. I then attach my own meaning to it, as in when my nan and granddad used to call me a big girl's blouse. So then they make you feel bad and ashamed for not being manly enough and being a bit like a girl.
yeah,
It's like, what's wrong with being a bit like a girl?
yeah.
What, like, why is that a problem?
No,
You know, it's ridiculous. But they're basically, so what that article was saying is about that's the patriarchal system.
yeah,
And how that is fundamentally quite flawed.
totally.
And that it causes a lot of pain. And especially as people are now starting to understand themselves so much more, and then realising that, like, I don't feel like I'm a man.
Mm.
I actually think I'm a woman. Then be a woman.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, I tell you what, it's okay with me.
Yeah,
You know, it's
And me.
okay if you're gay, you're straight. As far as I'm concerned, straight people have got a responsibility to try and make other people feel more comfortable.
yeah,
We shouldn't be going, you know, what about us straight people?
Mm.
What about us straight
Yeah.
people? We haven't been fucking persecuted for like millenniums.
yeah.
You know, like tough shit.
Yeah, like people have actually killed themselves because they've not wanted to talk about like or express their feelings like to their own families, which is mental. Or they're worried about what other people think, and like the repression of it all, and same in race and everything else. And I think like it's like I really hope that we're in a generation now that doesn't notice those things. But at the same time, like it needs to be spoken about because there will still be pockets of people who still have that kind of mentality.
And if your parents say it, then then there's every likelihood that you'll think it, even if you don't want to.
Yeah,
Because unless you rail against your parents, people do, but it's still very hard to get rid of that kind of intrinsic thing that's programmed in your brain.
Yeah, or quite often it'd be, oh yeah, all right, mum, whatever, and then you'd leave it at your mum's, and then you go and do what you're doing around your own house, whatever. But it is quite nice as well if you do educate your mum, because then she won't start shouting at people down the post office for holding hands or whatever.
Yeah. That's what I was. I was funny. I was discussing just this topic with my mum, and my mum's is cool as shit. You know, she's saying it's fucking disgusting that people are treated that way.
Yeah.
You know, everyone should be able to do what they want, and like, you know, and don't people realise that who would choose to be ostracised and have a very, very difficult life?
Yeah.
Who would genuinely choose that? It's
Yeah,
like
who would choose to not be able to express love for the person that they love
you can't hold
when they're
hands
just
with
fucking
the
walking down the
person you love
street?
walking down the street.
When we were talking to Neil, like this, they're getting bullied at work still. Like in this day and age, it's fucking ridiculous.
I do think a lot, like say like my nephews, they're like in their early 20s, and they've always been quite cool with stuff like that. But then yet they're in my family, and we're all pretty cool about stuff like that. And like I do meet a lot of young people just because of work and shit, and most of them are cool, but some of them are awful.
Yeah.
Like especially the very, very male ones.
Yeah.
Like they're you know, everyone's a pussy hole, and like they're really derogatory, and I spend a lot of time trying to educate them differently.
Yeah.
So
But is that because it's fed from mum and dad still, friends still talk about it.
Yeah.
We mates still talk about it. So it's still essentially everyone around you's saying exactly the same thing. So why would it be wrong?
I think what happens, I quite often find myself going down along the lines of, well, we're a Christian country, whether we like, even though I am staunchly atheist, like our values primarily are fed through Christianity.
Yeah, the whole system was basically built on it.
And Christians have been awful in the past.
Oh, totally.
Christians have pretty much wiped out all the other cultures in the world. So let's remember that Christians have been
tried to make them the same.
Yeah,
and then
have been very, very bad.
Create Hitler in a way that, or portray Hitler in a way that he did it, but he's bad because he wasn't on our side.
Yeah. So like, let's be
not defending him. I'm sure he was a cunt, but
I'm sure he was a cunt, but basically, you know, everything's leaning towards Christian values in this country. And you think, like, you see, like, Trump, and they're very strongly leaning on the Christian values, although I don't believe he's Christian.
That's
for
what
a
I
moment.
feel like. All of
his values are money.
Yeah.
But, so what I tend to do is go, it's fucking religion. But then, as I say that, I realise that actually I'm doing quite a similar. Again, I'm you know, going
kind of labelling.
A group doing that, and I'm labelling, and that's wrong as well. And I'm learning to do that less, and I'm checking myself like I am now, and that's because I fucking give a shit.
Yeah.
I give a shit about people.
Yeah.
And I just feel like people should give a shit more about people.
Yeah.
Be a bit more tolerant. It's really not hard.
And sometimes just shut your mouth and go, yeah, I've got an opinion on that, but I'm going to keep it to myself because those people, what they're doing over there is making them really happy. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So, anyway, I've been in this bit of been in like this little bit of a thing that's been going around in my head a fair bit recently. And then I spoke to someone who was Mormon, and he was vehemently against gay people.
Wow.
Really vehemently against them. And that basically did come from his Mormons, Christians, and that kind of Christian angle. So I started looking into it a little bit more, and I watched this really good thing on BBC iPlayer, and it was the singer from Imagine Dragons. Now, I don't really rate Imagine Dragons, but I don't hate them. Saw them at Reading once, and they played loads of drums.
Yeah, I really like what they're about.
And and the guitar player plays built guitars, which are probably my favourites, and I'd love to have one built guitars if you ever listen.
Tweeting.
Anyway, he is a Mormon, quite a devout Mormon.
Okay.
I think like Mormonism's one of the religions that I find hardest to understand why people would follow it, because uh, I know quite a lot about religions because I find them fascinating, and this one is particularly like you could. It sounds particularly crazy, as much as like the idea of Jesus Christ and all that sounds quite crazy. This one sounds even crazier.
Yeah, see, I genuinely know nothing about it.
So it comes from a guy called John Smith. It was a long time ago. Like
Hang on, what you saying? Like John Smith is their Jesus?
John Smith's almost like a prophet. So a guy called John Smith.
But that's like, is that why we have like John Smith? Because John Smith's like a joke name, right?
I don't think it's that. It's
Is that why have we got John?
Country,
have we got John Smith because of John Smith?
Bitter.
Or yeah, the bitter.
No, I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's John Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Anyway, John Smith, as a child, was digging around somewhere, and he found these golden tablets. Basically, it was like a file of facts of gold tablets.
Right, are you making this up?
No, I'm not. And these things were like basically newly discovered, like the words of Christ almost.
Okay.
And he then went round telling everyone that everyone else's idea of Christianity is wrong and they should do it this way.
Right.
And a lot of people really went for it. He did later get arrested for being a charlatan.
To be fair, like that's kind of a micro version of like a lot of other religions.
Yeah, no, I
like
know.
it is everyone's opinion. Like I'm joking. Like, obviously, it sounds like I'm mugging it off.
Yeah,
but
this was in times when this was probably like 1800s or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it. You know, it was in like kind of believable history.
Yeah.
Like not as old.
Nah.
But it also then it became really, really big. But I think they believe that if you're like an elder in the church or a prophet and everyone has to listen to you, and the prophets, the elders of the church, have a direct ear to God.
Yep.
So the church nearly went down the tubes because they refused to acknowledge like let black people be in the church.
Yeah.
And then because the church nearly collapsed, they went, "Oh, we've just spoken to God. We're going to have."
Turns out it's all right now.
Have black people.
Yeah.
Now. However, when they changed the laws in America, Salt Lake City was built by Mormons.
Okay.
So the whole of Salt Lake City is basically Mormon.
Wow.
That's where they've got their temple, their big temple. A lot of people are Mormons. They're massive. When you see like the two smart guys with a white shirt and a rucksack
the Book
knock
of
on your
Mormon.
door, they're Mormons. Because most Mormons do a 2-year mission.
Oh, right.
And that's what they do.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I completely and ignorantly assumed that they were Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah.
Yeah. They pretty much...
Again, though, only judging by clothing alone.
They pretty much call themselves the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, okay.
It's a Latter-day church.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they still basically accept the fundamentals of Christianity.
Well, I don't think we should discredit that any more than we do any other religion.
No, I agree. But it's like there are little bits in there that, say for example, only he could read it. He needed the special glasses to read it. Then they got destroyed, and there's all this kind of stuff that makes you think, oh, come on, there's alarm bells there. But you know, Jesus died, and then he disappeared, and then he came back. You know.
Yeah, no, of course.
We're not talking. We're talking about pretty out there shit.
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, a golden file of facts is a lot more believable than that happening.
Yeah. So you know, it's all pretty out there. But if you dig it, and it works for you, then you're all right with me.
Yeah.
Just don't push.
I think a lot of the time it's just when it's
accept that
abused.
Everyone thinks differently.
Yeah, because if you look at the Church of Scientology, this has come back into my life again recently. So me and Kate went to a like a yoga thing or like a health and well-being thing, and I like all the knickknacks and all the books and stuff. And there's like this one book there. It's massive and had like this cool tab thing at the side. And I was looking, and the guy went, "Oh, if you want, we can do this kind of test on you." I was like, "Oh, that's cool, yeah." So I went and did the test where you hold the cans and everything. It goes up and down, and you talk about certain things, and
that's basic psychology.
yeah. And I was like, do you know what? Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. I'll have some of this. I'll buy the book just because I was interested. I also bought one on Buddha and like all sorts of things.
Dianetics in itself is really pretty straightforward psychology.
Yeah.
And the meter reads the bits that so your heart goes up when they touch on something that is personal, for example. That's
basic science.
And then they go, right, so we'll dig into that.
Yeah. And what I think they should have done is stop there. Because then what happens is they try and come around your house, they ring you up, they send you letters. I'm still getting letters. They recruit Tom Cruise and John Travolta to fly planes for him. And if you watch the documentary, I think there was one recently on terrestrial, like Channel 4, I think, or it's definitely on Sky. Don't think it's on Netflix anymore. But they go right into the depths of it. And again, the power of it has been abused. And they're doing all sorts of horrible things to some people that are actually up for doing something pretty cool.
You have to pay to progress on to the next levels. It's like, well, if it's real and you care about people, you don't want money.
No, it should all be for free.
Anyway,
thereabouts.
Going back to that, could go on about Scientology all day. I find it fascinating.
Well, the reason it come back into my life is because there's an office right near my office, and two guys come in and said, "Oh, Brad, you like all this sort of thing? Like, we just sat in and watched this 45-minute video. Like, it's really good. Like, it really explained a lot of things and it ticked a lot of boxes for us." I was like, "Man, that sounds really cool." Like, getting it, like, what is it, like Buddhist temple thing, or like was it like an Islamic thing? Like, what were they wearing? Like, I was obviously trying to identify it a little bit to try and talk to them. And they're like, "Oh yeah, like we didn't really see what it is, but we've got the book. I'll bring it in tomorrow." And they bought the book in. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's Scientology." And like everyone in the canteen was like, "Oh, fucking hell." And I was like, "Well, no, like hear it out. Like, there's a reason why you're interested in it.
Yeah,
so just make your own mind up about it."
So the auditing process is the basic principle of therapy almost. So the idea is you say it all, and then you don't feel bad about it, and then they go, right, so we've done that, and almost like therapy or CBT, for example, you've said it all, you've got it out of your system. They then relate all of that stuff to a different way of living.
Yeah.
CBT is basically that. So that's kind of what they do. And then you feel loads better, but then you feel like you want to feel even better.
Yeah.
But then it goes into the alien thing. Which is where it all goes a bit crazy. Remembering that L. Ron Hubbard was an author of fiction.
Yeah, a comic book writer or something, right?
No, he wasn't a comic book writer. He used to write pulp novels.
Oh, right.
And
That's
science fiction.
Yeah.
And they don't really talk about that, but I believe that when you go past a certain level, you then get into they then tell you about all the aliens.
But again, though, if it was done in the right way, like there's no reason not to believe it because we don't really know. And again, like we were saying about Jesus and everything else.
Is that any less valid than any other
No,
religion?
not at all. But it's when it becomes it's picking on the vulnerable and it's an abuse of power and it's kind of trickery and it's kind of like treating people as stupid.
Yeah.
Whereas essentially, it should be a collective thing where everyone gets together and go, right, that is a little bit silly, but why don't we look into it? We've got some scientists. Let's research it.
There's some nice bits here that we can all get something
from.
Let's focus on that.
Yeah, let's have a good time. Who's got a little bit of money? All right, we'll put it all together. We'll do this, we'll do that, and then just build something that everyone does actually want to be a part of because it's fucking great.
And I feel like, as you say, like most religion is that, but most religion always has an element of, well, we're right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it falls down.
Definitely.
They just went, well, we like what we like, but we're all right with everyone else doing what they want to do as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of religion doesn't do that. It's always at the cost of someone else, and it's always got that element of one-upmanship.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Like the vicar near us, like everyone talks about how she's a lady, which is terrible because that shouldn't make any difference nowadays. How laid back she is, and like she plays guitar during different things and stuff like that. They let kids run around. It's not all quiet and stuffy. Like you can wear trainers and stuff like that. And really, it's kind of sad that we've had years of having to be that way. But I think it's not necessarily religion. It's probably more Victorianism. The Victorians that have said, "Oh, you have to be quiet." Speak and don't be spoken to or whatever, and this be certain way, and
it comes from Catholicism.
Yeah, of course, and like having to basically link to a higher power, be it the king or the queen or the church or God or whatever.
Most of like the British monarchy, was it Henry VIII or someone who said, "Right, we're Christian now."
Yeah,
I want to. If you're not Christian, you're going to die.
Yeah,
and obviously that's really wrong. But however, I like fundamentally, I believe if it works for you and it makes you happy, then fill your boots.
Totally.
Just be cool with everyone if they're not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back to what I was getting at was so I watched this documentary from the singer of Imagine Dragons.
Oh yeah,
it's called Believe. And it's really, really good. So what happened was when the Americans they changed their law to allow same-sex marriage. Of course, why the fuck not?
Mm.
And the Mormon church said, "No way, we're not having that." And they did a call to arms, and they told all Mormons to oppose it in every possible way they can.
Oh God.
So then they had a spate of gay Mormons killing themselves.
No way, really.
Because, like, basically, it's like if you grow up in like a religious family like that, everything is based around that.
Yeah.
So all of your family, probably all of your friends.
Yeah.
All of your
all of their friends, all of their family.
Everyone is probably Mormon.
Mm.
And then they're basically saying, "We don't accept you," which is really fucking awful, really, really awful. And of course, that's going to make you mentally ill.
Yeah,
of course it is, because it's basically saying that who you are is wrong.
Yeah,
and that's fucking awful.
Well, I think maybe that's because like
under this, but it goes under the guise of this overall idea of love and peace, and
it's trickery again.
It's just not, is it?
No. But like that is a micro version of what's happened with Christianity and everything else in this country. And again, like Victorian times and stuff like that, of having to dress a certain way, look a certain way, and then obviously don't be black, don't be gay, don't speak up for yourself, don't oppose, the government as such or the local council.
If you're gay, then basically you're going to go to hell.
Yeah. But that it was the opinion of most of this country for a really long time.
Yeah, until like what? Probably not even 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think that works under the assumption that you have some choice.
Yeah.
Like you have, if you truly believe that you choose to be gay, or you choose to be bisexual, or you choose to be a different gender, like, do you really think people are gonna like welcome like that kind of conflict in their life? Of course they're not.
Well, the issue that you've got is the people that you're arguing with are your mum and dad.
Yeah, exactly.
And it always comes down to mum and dad essentially, but you're basically going against the people that you've gone along with since you popped out. Like,
and the people you looked up to guide you and to love you and to mold
and you trust implicitly.
Yeah.
And you will do whatever they tell you to do, unless it's don't put the remote control in the bin, don't jump on the settee, and don't swear in front of your nan.
Yeah. So this documentary is really, really quite touching, and so he puts on a gig in Salt Lake City to try and get the Mormon Church to not do it. And that is when they did the bits about how they had changed things. And because I tell you what it makes me think about is how women weren't allowed to do things. Like women weren't allowed to
Yeah,
vote.
like the more you think about this, the more fucked it is.
Yeah.
Like, and this is literally what we're talking, like 30, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
50 years ago. Like, not even a very long time
Like
ago.
women weren't allowed to vote.
It's
and
crazy.
Like, it is crazy to think the world was like that.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think, I can't help but kind of grab parallels. Because it's like, you know, some religions now, you know, like women wear the burqa.
Yeah.
You know, and I fully accept that some women choose to wear a burqa.
Totally.
But they choose to wear it because of their beliefs.
Yeah.
And those beliefs are fundamentally sexist.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's the idea that a belief could be that horrific.
Yeah, controlling.
That mean.
Yeah. To affect someone's day-to-day, like, physical
So you
being.
can't do it.
Yeah.
So I watched something the other day on... it was the Stacey Dooley.
I like Stacey Dooley.
I quite like her. She sounds really Essex, and I think she makes me feel like I sound stupid as well.
Yeah, but she really gets into some really nitty-gritty kind of
like
situations.
But it was funny because I was watching a documentary. She goes to the camps where they basically put all the ISIS brides and children.
All right.
They put them in camps because most of the people who fought for ISIS, like they just got locked up.
Yeah.
But they can't decide what to do with the women because they kind of sit in between. Most of the women there are from other countries, so like it's their country's responsibility, but the country aren't taking responsibility for them, and they're saying that they still hold the terrorist beliefs, so they don't want them.
That's fucking crazy.
And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, like, I was discussing it with someone at work and they were going, oh, it's dreadful, isn't it? Like, they've just been brainwashed. And I was just saying, it's not any different to any other religion.
No.
It's just that one's more extreme.
Yeah.
And it says kill people. But I was saying, like Christianity used to tell you to kill people as well.
I think what's worse with that is I only ever hear it in conjunction with the American government or something else. I think, and you watch House of Cards, and I think like they are an icon of terror and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to, and again, I'll accept that I'm completely ignorant on it.
There are other elements that go on there. There's different layers.
Yeah, it might be a completely legitimate thing, and there might be elements of it that are awesome. And I will confess that I don't know enough about it to comment. But what you are saying is right. Essentially, is for us, it's been used as a logo for terrorism.
Yeah.
Because what the offshoot of that, Al Qaeda and ISIS. People now down Asda think anyone with a beard and a tan or is wearing anything that isn't fucking trousers and a shirt is a terrorist. And it's been, again, an abuse of power.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is exactly right. It's no different. It's exactly the same.
It's just another religion with different
it's
ideas.
Just a different label.
Those ideas are particularly extreme.
Yeah.
But those are ideas that when the British King decided that we were a Protestant nation and Catholics weren't allowed, then loads of Catholics got slaughtered. But like because our history leans in our direction, that's okay. So I was saying like it's no different, and they were going, of course it is. And I'm like, it's really not.
No.
Like if you just strip it down to fundamentals, it's just two beliefs. And actually. Like, you know, terrorism aside, who's to say that their belief is right and, you know, like an Islamic country, who's to say that that's wrong and we're right?
Yeah. Who knows, like, that might be like the ultimate whatever is supposed to be right and everything else.
Yeah.
But we've got like
We don't
weapons
actually
and
know.
money and we've just gone over and gone, fucking hell, that's scary. So we're going to destroy it or control it or lock it up. Like we generally don't know what is going on over
We
there.
actually don't know what's right. What we should be working on is, I suppose this is when I get my thing when I don't, the reason why I'm an atheist is that I believe we should be working on reason and rationality.
Yeah, and a humane element.
Humanity. And we don't.
No.
You know, and this country doesn't, because we're like, well, you're wrong, so we've got to get rid of you, and then that's what causes the divides within our own communities.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. We should just be working on a stance of, well, we don't know. As long as people aren't killing each other, then it's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like as long as everyone's not hurting one another, or doing it at the expense of other people, then that's all right.
I still truly believe if we were all in the same room, as in all humanity, it would all sort itself out. So like the most annoying people would just get squashed because there's so many of us, or if they were.
Then again, that's natural selection, isn't it?
Yeah.
And natural selection is pretty much a patriarchy. See, this is the thing. I can't. I think about this shit all the time, and I wish I didn't. But natural selection is survival of the fittest. And who's the fittest? The fittest is a big, brawny man.
Yeah.
And that is why women have always been put down.
But if you had 100 women and they all stood on that man, then he can't do anything.
Yeah, but it wouldn't work if it was equal.
No.
So it wouldn't work. So that's fundamentally why we have like the kind of men at the top in our society. Men, like I don't care what people say, women are still in a lower position to men.
Oh, I mean, they're still talking about like
they're still objectified.
There's still like pay differences and stuff like that. I can't even fathom that in this day and age. There's no fucking need for that.
And there's still the assumption that men have more power and can do what they want.
Like, why hasn't everyone just gone, oh fucking hell, we're all a bit shit for thinking that, and just got on with their life? I know there are a lot of progressive companies, a lot of progressive people, and ultimately our children and their children won't think like that. Well, I know ours won't, but I like to think that attitude won't continue anymore. But it is still happening because people are still reporting on the fact that there's still a pay difference within even the BBC and companies like Virgin and stuff like that. It's fucking mental. So there's no need for it.
So I think like we could have like every episode of this could be an episode of what Nick has watched recently.
Yeah.
But I find like when I'm not doing a lot, I kind of like to try. I read like at bedtime, but I don't. I like to read a story. So when I'm like not doing a lot, I quite often just watch like documentaries.
Yeah, I like documentaries
because I kind of feel like I've got a responsibility to try and understand other people.
Yeah,
generally always about people. And then I watched this other thing about how it was in America a few years ago. How like this kind of the football team. This American school, they had raped an underage girl, and they'd shared videos. That got leaked to a woman who was doing a blog. That woman then they sued her for sharing it.
What the hell?
Yeah, because everyone in America is a bit different, but everyone seems to back the local football team.
Oh, right, okay.
American football team.
That's
so she
so
got sued for like privacy laws or something like that. And then Anonymous, like the internet people with the moustaches, they got wind of it and they blew it up across the world.
Wow.
And then there was picket lines outside the court and everything like that.
Yeah.
And
I love what they do.
Yeah, and then basically the two kids who shared it got like a year in prison, like nothing, like in a youth prison, like nothing. And then it transpired that the school had also heard about it. It happened before, and they'd covered it up.
No way.
Someone had come forward and they'd gone, no, fuck off, and they covered it up.
Oh my god!
And you just think, does that not stink of like these boys are going to be stars. They're our football stars, and they're going to go on and they're going to make our town famous, our little town. And it's like, fuck that poor girl, and they were all like, I think both the girls were like 14. They were young.
Jesus.
They'd been shared around, and they got them really drunk. Like the girl, like the main story, I think they got this girl drunk, and they were like sticking things up her arse and that, and they drove her to different parties, and they all had a mess around with her because she was so out of it. But apparently, like the town tried to, like the kind of heads at the school and the coaches were so powerful at the school because the football team brings in revenue into the school.
Yeah.
Like the whole community go and watch it.
Yeah.
That they just covered it up. And then it turned out they'd done it before.
Do you know what? That's like one or two instances.
That is kind of, that's properly like that male privilege.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she was fucked. You know, like she shouldn't have put herself in that position. Our boys are red-blooded boys.
Yeah.
You know, like what are they going to do? Of course they're going to.
But again, as I say, if all humanity was in the same room at the same time, that collection of probably like white-blooded fucking men wouldn't stand a chance. Because I'd fucking jump in and kick their ass anyway, and most people would go, do you know what? That's not right.
But again, I put it back to you. I say, if those boys, and you were in a room full of fucking big burly blokes who were saying to you, and this is like, you put it in perspective of society, if you're in a community and all the big burly blokes are like, you know, it's not a very forward thinking community. Most women tend to do what they're told. Everyone's going to do what they're told because the big guys are saying, no, this is alright, she shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
And then everyone else goes, well, she shouldn't have done it. Like how often, like you do hear things when people say, you know, you do hear those kind of arguments. It's like, well, she was wearing a short skirt, she was asking for it.
Yeah, there's a line in
the
what is it? This new Specials album. There's a wicked spoken word bit in it, and I can't remember the girl's name now, but yeah, she says exactly that about a court case. Thou shall not. Oh man, you'll have to go and listen to it. New Specials album, but yeah,
like,
exactly.
well, look, you're walking
she was
around
asking
with
for
breasts,
it. Yeah,
so you're asking for
yeah.
it. You know, and that is basically, that's why I come back to that idea of patriarchy. Is that is what our society is based on.
But yeah, it's just because
like, even we do it. You know, like if you moan about your wife and go like, you know, well, just do what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of do it without thinking about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
And you kind of have to check yourself.
What, just going along with it kind of thing? Is that what you mean?
No, but you know, like just the general. Oh, that's what wives do. You know, like sometimes you have those things, and the problem is that I do believe that men and women we are different.
Yeah.
You know, of course we're different. So it is understandable that you go, well, look, you know, I'm different to my wife. She's gonna feel that way about something, and I'm gonna feel this way about something. So actually, what we should do is both talk about how we feel about it.
Yeah, and come to some sort of arrangement.
Come to like an almost negotiate.
Yeah.
So we both feel happy.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's what you and I would do.
A grown-up conversation.
Yeah. But most people would just go, oh, fuck it, well, she's a nutter.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of
She
things.
should know where her place in the kitchen.
Well, not even that. It's like, well, she don't know. You know, like,
yeah.
So I do think, like, even without fucking thinking about it, even without, you know, like, it's almost like it's kind of fucking ingrained in us.
Yeah.
And I don't feel very comfortable about it.
Scary, isn't it?
It is scary.
Like, I know when you're teenagers, when you're kids, and there's kind of peer pressure, and like everyone seemingly who you kind of look up to and aspire to, they're all doing these things. You think, oh, we'll do it together. Normally, it's like drink or drugs, and then you do hear of things like that, and like the football thing and all that sort of thing, which is fucking terrible. But like, you kind of, and I'm not justifying it in any way, but like people go through that phase of like wanting to kind of fit in with the group and everything else, and it's scary and like everyone goes through it and you kind of grow out of it, or I think just change it. So like we'll go from school thinking, oh, school was shit, fucking being told what to do, having to be somewhere on time and learn stuff. Right, I'm going to work now where I have to be somewhere on time, fucking learn stuff and everything else. So we kind of like move our issues from birth to school to like everywhere else kind of thing. But like, it's scary to think that people don't grow out of that.
No,
And then
some people don't.
they get into positions of power, and then they kind of just roll out the same kind of thing. So that they'll have their little group of men around them, and they go, right, we're doing this. And some people go, oh, that's a bit shit. And they go, well, do you want to work here or not?
Yeah, that kind of.
And then, well, if you don't want to work here, just fucking go. And then we'll get someone else who does work here. And then all of a sudden you've got like 4 men who think the same thing. And then they're like, right, Karen, you go and get the teas because we're having a fucking meeting in here. And we're going to talk about strategies and stuff like that. And then someone walks in and then like it's a black guy and they're like, oh no, you're not coming in. And one guy will go, well, I don't agree with that. Well, do you want to work here or not?
Yeah.
Well, fuck off then. And then they get another one in who is racist. And all of a sudden, like...
Well, it's like, no, you can come in, but no, Karen, you can come in. But when you're not here, we'll be like, oh, fucking, what's Karen going on?
Yeah, God, Karen's a slag, isn't she? Yeah.
You know, like, loads
Yeah. Put your knickers on and make me a cup of tea.
Yeah, it's like, fucking, it's bollocks.
But that, all we've been speaking about is, I believe, the same thing, but in different guises. And it is that kind, I think that is the seed of it. That's like that kind of, the idea, if you speak to there's a line in one of the Men in Black films. It's like the person is like compassionate, loving, caring, understanding. And that's what I meant. Like if we get like all of humanity in one room, like people will be like, no, do you know what? That's fucking wrong. But like when people are all together, like people are like swayed, that people are can be like subjectified, like a logo, like
no, that is the people want to feel part of something.
Yeah.
So if like a couple of guys over there are going, well, we think this, and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to be on my own over here, so I'll join you, and it's like, well, we all think this now.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh man,
this is a debate that can run and run. But
yeah, I've seen changes like in site canteens because I've worked on building sites for a really, really long time. Go from like someone would say something and nothing would be said. So someone would go, shut up, you black idiot, or whatever, and everyone go, yeah, and all join in.
Yeah.
Whereas now, someone said that, I guarantee, well, most of us, well, I mean, I definitely would, but like the general consensus would be, fucking hell, mate. You can't say that. That's well out of order. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, but like, not just in that, that's quite an extreme instance.
Yeah.
But like, there are discussions being had about mental health. Yeah. And I've been talking about like debt and stuff like that. And I've got some useful information and it is a lot more open. But then it's funny because you have those conversations and there'll be like 2 or 3 of you. But then when there's like 30 of you, it is literally way birds, booze, football, and like it all kind of like fits into that same conglomerate again. So anyone from the outside looking in, like if a visitor come in, and let's just say like an elderly lady or whatever, she's just seeing like a conglomerate of loud men kind of thing. But if she actually listens to the conversations, we're talking about.
She's probably just seeing pack mentality and not the actual feeling.
And I think it's the same. We've literally. I don't know what we've spoken about, but what we have spoken about is that exact same thing, that same thread all the way through religion, being in groups, fitting in. Yeah.
And I think just to kind of round it off really, it's the idea that like, so that intolerance and that like the kind of social expectation, it makes people ill. It's made me ill.
Yeah.
And that just if you're listening to this and if you're watching it, just fucking be more tolerant of people.
Yeah,
it's really simple. Just think, how would I feel? And just think, are they a nice person? And that's what matters.
Yeah. Like, really stand up for people. If someone's hurting someone else, and go and stand up for them.
Can't tell them to fucking pack it in.
But essentially, the rage you feel inside because someone's wearing a fucking different hat to you, or someone is putting a bit of their body in another bit of someone else's body that's different to what you would do, it's got fuck all to do with you.
No, and you've been conditioned
Totally.
So you've been brainwashed to think that.
Yeah.
So maybe think, oh, actually, I'm not better. I'm a bit of a mug.
Yeah.
Well, that was good, wasn't it?
That really went in, didn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to The Mouth of Manliness.
Thank you very much.
Your New Zealand #1 podcast.
I'm going to have to learn a New Zealand accent that isn't racist to Australians or New Zealand. That's true.
Yeah, take care, everyone. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.